Sometimes a single tense moment caught on camera can tell you everything you need to know about power, about authority, and about duty. Today, we're going to dive into a pretty dramatic public standoff in Nigeria's capital that seriously had the entire nation talking. And believe it or not, it all kicked off with just two words.
Yep, that's it right there. Shut up. Just two words from a really powerful politician to a junior military officer, and that single command, it was the flashpoint for a video that went absolutely viral. So we're going to unpack exactly what led up to this moment, what happened right after, and why it struck such a nerve with so many people.
So how did this all kick off? Well, like so many stories these days, it started with a video that just spread like wildfire all over the internet.
Okay, so the scene is, well, it's tense. You can feel it. On one side, you've got one of Nigeria's most well-known politicians, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And he is right in the face of a naval officer who is just not backing down. This raw, face-to-face dispute, all caught on camera, was about to light up a huge national conversation. But to really get a handle on the heat of that moment, we've got to back up a little bit. What were they even arguing about? Well, it all started with a piece of property.
So the whole conflict is centered on this one plot of land in Abuja. The FCT administration, with the minister in charge, said a structure was built there illegally, without authorization, and they showed up to tear it down. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The property was connected to a former, very high-ranking naval officer. So yeah, that added a whole new layer of complexity to the situation.
So really this boils down to two people on completely opposite missions. On one side, you have Minister Wike, and his job that day was to enforce a government demolition order, plain and simple. And on the other side, facing him, you have Lieutenant A.M. Yarima, a naval officer who was given his own orders, prevent anyone, and he means anyone, from getting onto that property. It's like that classic saying, right? An irresistible force meeting an immovable object.
It really unfolded in four pretty clear stages. First up, access denied. The minister's team tries to get in, but they're blocked by armed naval personnel. Then, stage two, the confrontation. This is where an angry Minister Wike gets right in Lieutenant Yarima's face. Third, you get defiance. The officer just stands his ground. He refuses to back down. And finally, number four, the justification. And this part is absolutely key. He makes it clear he's not just making this up himself.
And this is the absolute core of the officer's defense. Look, he wasn't arguing about whether the demolition was legal or not. That wasn't his job. Instead, he based his actions squarely on the military chain of command. He says, I'm just following orders from a superior. And just like that, you have this incredible clash. His military duty versus the minister's civilian authority happening right there on the street.
Okay, section 4, the official aftermath. So eventually the camera stopped rolling, but believe me, the story was far from over. The conflict just moved from that dusty plot of land to the highest offices in the entire military.
So after that standoff, Minister Wike didn't just, let it go. No way. He escalated it, and he went right up the ladder through the official channels. He took his complaints straight to the very top. We're talking the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Naval Staff.
And apparently, the response from the military leadership was pretty quick. Both of the chiefs reportedly assured the minister that they would step in and handle it. It was a really clear signal from the highest levels that they wanted to de-escalate this very public clash of power.
All right, Section 5, the public's verdict. But while all the officials were working things out behind the scenes, the court of public opinion was already in session. And let me tell you, it was loud. Online, the reaction was just overwhelmingly on the officer's side. All across social media, people were praising Lieutenant Yarima for how he carried himself. The words that kept popping up were calm, disciplined, and courageous, especially for how he handled himself while staring down such a powerful and frankly angry politician. And look, this wasn't just a few stray comments here and there. It was a genuine wave of support. For so many people watching, the officer's refusal to be intimidated became this huge symbol of professionalism, of integrity, especially under that kind of intense pressure. It really turned into one of those cultural moments where the public, well, they clearly picked a side. So when you step back and look at it, this whole incident in Abuja was way more than just some argument over a piece of land. It was a rare, very public test of two completely different kinds of power, and it really forces us to ask some big questions, right? In a democracy, where exactly does the authority of an elected official end and the duty of a soldier begin? And maybe more importantly, what does it reveal about the true nature of power when those two forces collide, right out in the open for everyone to see?